Good evening, good morrow, and good night. Chris Crust, Drunken Nerd, here with my Beer Here podcast, or I guess it's more of a vlog right now, considering I don't quite have a co-host and I don't trust myself to go for long periods of time solo. That being said, the idea of this podcast is that I will talk about all things nerdy that matter to me, or maybe not nerdy. We'll see what's on my mind. But at the same time, I'll drink a new and different beer each time and tell you what my opinion on it is, just in case you want to try something different. Now, this is spontaneous tonight, so I don't have a new beer. What I have is New Belgium Fat Tire Red Ale. And I don't know much that I could say about this beer because I drink it all the time. It's one of my favorite beers. I could try and describe it. It's smooth. There's a slight bitterness to it, but not a lot. There's no real heavy hopped flavor. It's 5.2% alcohol content, which is respectable. But, there's not going to be any new first impressions. But if you're looking for something different and you've never tried it before, it's a good beer. It goes down easy and pairs with just about everything, or I don't know, so I think. Now, the meat and potatoes of why we're here. To talk nerd, or I should say for me to rant with all my nerdiness and keep everything from bottling up and boiling over and causing me to make poor decisions in life. So, what am I talking about today? Well, it's a new year, new beginnings, right? Perhaps not. But I hope so. Because 2016, I got a bone to pick with you, and not for the reasons everybody else has. This is a nerdy podcast, so I'm not going to give a shit about politics as far as that goes, or at least not on camera, I'm not. And I'm at the age where I understand people die, so the number of celebrities taken does not affect me whatsoever. No, my issue is the disappointment, the letdown, for all the build-up of things that you promised, as far as TV and movies go. See, I was promised a plethora of comic nerdy goodness on the big screen, and a lot of big-time changes in my favorite TV shows. And what I got were some enjoyable moments and a lot of disappointment. As far as the movies go, we have Deadpool to start it off. Kick-ass movie, but I think it could have a better ending. Captain America Civil War was a good movie for the middle of the year, and we rounded it off with Rogue One, which, wow. When Disney said there was going to be a Star Wars film once every year until, I die, or we stop paying, which we never will, I was skeptical. But after seeing Rogue One, now I'm excited thoroughly. But everything in between there, the X-Men film, the DC movies, Suicide Squad, Batman v Superman, I don't know, it just, I got more excited for some of the obscure, Disney films that came out. Moana came out of nowhere for me, and I thought that was an exceptional movie. It's a story that we've heard before, but it's the fine details that they got right this time. But I'm not going to go too heavy into that. But the DC films just continue to let me down. Perhaps I should stop getting my hopes up. But perhaps you should stop cutting your trailers in a way that make me think you're going to deliver this action-packed ass-kickorama, and instead I get convoluted plots and lengthy discussions and courtroom battles. I mean, Jesus Christ, this year you gave us Carrot Top as a supervillain. What was that? Whatever. I just want to get it out in the open because 2017 is coming and there's a lot of things on the plate. And I am very, very excited for it. But to be properly excited, I need to relieve the tension that 2016 left behind. But it's not just movies. It's not just movies that I'm looking forward to. A lot of things going on in TV. And TV that I was disappointed with last year. Let's begin with everything going on with the CW. First of all, Legends of Tomorrow. The characters got to get a little more legendary. I'm sorry, but I can't. You don't care about any of these people. They're not built well enough. There's not enough time spent on them, and the time that is spent on them is in meaningless, trivial stuff. Supergirl, I understand that it's not supposed to be necessarily directed at me, but I feel like it tries too hard at the whole girl power thing while also being condescending towards females, and maybe that's just the way that I see it, but that's how it comes off for me, both in the first and the second season. Flash and Arrow. Arrow is still telling two stories. We are still getting flashbacks, and I can't wait for 3 seasons from now when we are flashing back to the original season. That's going to be just all kinds of Inception. But aside from that, what did this season bring us? Scary villain-wise. Oh, that's right. Another guy with a bow and arrow. I mean, seriously, how many people are running around this city with a bow and arrow? Of all the weapons that you could choose from. I mean, like, I get it. There's a lot of reasons why Green Arrow does it. And then, okay, some of the people that he trains can also use a bow and arrow because they're trained by him and they're trained in his ways. Okay, and then maybe there's a villain who comes along and he happened to be trained in the art of archery as well for assassination purposes. But is everyone an archer now? Is that just what happened? Like, was there a Groupon on lessons? I don't know. We get over to Flash, and I love Flash. Flash is an amazing TV show. They are doing comic book TV right. They are strange and out there, yet also rooted in reality with the emotional aspect of the show. And yet this year as villain, we got another speedster. As the fastest man alive, I gotta say, Barry's gotta be concerned that someone's gonna be nipping on his heels with all the other speedsters running around. I don't know. It's just, I'm getting tired of a lot of the same old, same old. And then we move over to Walking Dead, and we built up, and I don't know, I don't think the payoff when we finally got back around to who Negan killed was really worth it, or even, I don't know, focused on that much. I mean, he killed one, he bounced over to the other, and then, I don't know, the episode was kind of a blur for me. And to be honest, just the person that they have playing Negan is throwing me off completely. It's bad enough, if you read the comics, okay, I know, I said that I wasn't trying to be a stickler about details, but with certain characters, you want what you read, And in the comics, Negan is this foul-mouthed sociopath that still has a specific agenda. In a way, he has a concern for other people. He wants to take care of everybody. He just thinks the best way to do that is to instill one asshole over everybody that all the rage and fear and everything can be directed at. But he's foul-mouthed and he's over the top and he's funny, and you can't be as foul-mouthed, first off, on AMC as you can in the comics, and that doesn't seem like a big deal, but if you read his dialogue in the comics, I think you'll understand. Also, Negan is this big, imposing figure, and the guy that got to play him, I don't know his name off the top of my head. When he was the comedian in Watchmen, he was a larger individual. He seemed larger. And I thought when they announced him, perfect. That is an excellent casting choice. He will fit the role well. But I don't know. Did he come down with something? He seems to have shriveled up. Did he leave him out in the sun too long? I don't understand. And Negan also has that classic 50s biker look with the clean shaven and the slick back hair. And the idea that he comes on the scene right away with the porn stash and the Scooby-Doo kerchief. What is it, Fred? Fred's neckerchief? Yeah. The whole thing just threw me. I'm sure for those who only watch the show, he's probably very intimidating and very crazy and over the top. Just like for people who've never read Batman comics, think that Harley Quinn and Joker are very crazy and over the top in Suicide Squad. But these people all just come off as people trying to pretend to be crazy. Anyways, I'm not going to go on for too much longer because, as I've said, I do not yet have a co-host, and banter can be difficult when you don't have someone to relay off of. But I did want to vent and just put it out there that 2016 was a disappointment, and I really hope for better. I mean, you got to take the good with the bad, but I don't know. They built it up like there was going to be more good, and I hope that I'm not let down this year. And maybe I'm not the only one. Maybe some of you out there felt the same way, felt let down, felt like you should have gotten more out of what was promised to you this last year. I don't know. I mean, the comments, the reactions, they all seemed pretty mixed. Some liked it, some liked this, some liked that, some didn't like this, some didn't like that. And that's fine. I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but I just feel like here's to me what it boils down to. You can do something that a good percentage of people will like. But when you're compared to things that are being done that people are exceeding expectations, people that didn't even think they were going to like these things are liking them, then just having some, you're falling short. What's a better way to put this? It's like grading. Some of these TV shows, the DC movies and that, they're getting a C, and that's passing. But when you're getting a C and so many around you are flying with A's, you start feeling a little shameful about that C. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just too picky. Maybe I'm too much of a nerd. But in this supposed golden age of nerds, where it's finally cool to be a nerd, where so many people are trying to jump on board the bandwagons, how can I be too nerd? Right? How can I be too nitpicky? Maybe they're just the ramblings of a drunken madman. But hopefully you tune in more often. Videos should be coming. And hopefully I find myself a decent co-host. Give these videos a little bit longer, and I'll try and put them out as frequently as I can, and try to put them out whenever big things happen, movies come out, TV episodes that are super important, that way I can talk about those and kind of get my opinions out there. But if you like it, share it, whatever, you know the drill. I'm Chris Crust, the Drunken Nerd, and this is Beer Here.